One of the hallmark in hoarding is a difficulty in parting with your possessions.
Do you find that they ever find themselves in situations where a friend comes over and says, gosh, I really need 20 hangers, and they go, well, you're in luck because I got them right over here, and they give away those items? Dr. Yip, when does someone cross the line from being obsessive over their stuff to having a clinical disorder?
Well, first of all, I can't really say that hoarding disorder, a person who hoards, is actually obsessed over their stuff. I would say they have more of a difficulty discarding their stuff. So it's not that, it's not like an OCD where I'm constantly having these intrusive thoughts and these thoughts are interfering with my functioning. With a person who hoards, I'm not really thinking about my stuff. I'm not really having intrusive thoughts about my stuff. I just have a lot of problems discarding my stuff. I have a lot of problems parting with my possessions without it creating a lot of distress and anxiety. So it's not that I am obsessing over my things, if that makes sense. Half of the times, I don't even know where anything is because there's so many things. So that's the first thing. Now go back to your question again.
Well, no, that answers my question, because the focus shouldn't be on the obsession as much as the impact things are having on people's lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I go back to that example earlier of the garage, I mean, how often do you think of the things in your garage?
Right, never. Yeah.
Right, you probably don't even know what's there, right?
Right, yeah. Besides the obvious signs, right? If I walk into my friend's house and it's filled with stuff and we can't move and the rooms are not being used for their intended purpose and it has this clear detriment in someone's life, obviously there's an issue here. I can see that.
Yes.
But are there signs that we can look out for before it reaches that level that I could go, whoa, I think my loved one may have a problem with hoarding?
So if you weren't a family member who engaged with this person, you probably wouldn't even know this person's a hoarder because the disease is so secretive.
So let's say my producer at her house is a hoarder. She just has stuff all in her house. But when she comes to work, her desk might be clean and organized?
Sure.
Wow, so she can keep that disorder in her own space and it won't bleed out into her work life?
Usually not.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay, why is that, do you think?
Well, because you have separation in terms of what you're able to contain in the house and what you're willing to show to the public, right? So a person who hoards tend to be very secretive about their disease because it's embarrassing. They know it's embarrassing. So in a way, there is a discrepancy between knowing that you're a hoarder and admitting that you're a hoarder. So knowing that, I do have a lot of stuff in my house, I have difficulty parting with my stuff, and I don't want strangers or even colleagues and friends coming over and seeing how messy my house is. Now, my belief system might be I need all of this stuff and I just don't have enough room, or I just can't figure out how to place this stuff and my house is just messy. That might be my belief system. However, I do see that it's a messy place and I am embarrassed. I might even be ashamed to show such a messy house to a guest, and therefore I won't invite the person over. I mean, how often have you had family members come over, guests come over, and last minute you're shuffling things away and cleaning up, right? Well, why do we do that? Because we want to show our best selves, right? So a person who hoards may still feel like, okay, I need all of this stuff, and I see that it's messy. It's not really a problem, but I don't want other people to see it. So one of the main signs, if you have never been to your producer's home, is if you're never invited, or if your producer chooses to meet you somewhere else instead of at their home. That's one of the common signs.
That's a good sign. So if you know somebody, for the record, the producer is not a hoarder. But if you know somebody who is, and you might have known them for 5 years, 8 years,
10 years, 20 years.
never been in their house, you may be wanting to ask yourself why that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Or there might be dead bodies in there.
Yeah, might be something even much more detrimental than hoarding. So if, and we'll get into this more in a later episode, but if you suspect that somebody you know may be a hoarder, what is the first step that you take to address it?
Well, I mean, you can let them know that this seems to be an issue. You know, part of the treatment is motivational interviewing.
Motivational interviewing.
Motivational interviewing,
Okay.
which is huge. It's a huge component to the treatment because, again, most people who hoard can't admit that there's a problem. And if I cannot admit there's a problem, then I'm not going to be open to treatment. And this is what actually causes a lot of conflict with family members. So in motivational interviewing, what our goal is to align the person's values, their goals, with reality. So if my value is to spend more time with family members, if my value is to have a more productive life, obviously something's going to have to change because having all of the stuff in my home is keeping family members away, having all of the rules around what family members can touch, what parts of the house is off limits, where they can sit, where they can go. These rules are going to interfere with family members coming over, interacting with you, engaging with you. And again, as a family member, you can help your loved one figure out, well, I want to spend more time with you. I want to have a closer relationship with you. However, there seems to be a lot of rules around what I can do in the house, what I cannot. You won't even let me come over. I mean, you bring up what your goals are and you help your loved one see the discrepancy between what is valuable, meaningful in life versus what's actually happening.
Yeah, I like that. In episode 6, we'll talk about treatment options, and I would love to go further into that motivational interviewing. Maybe we can even do an example.
Oh yes, role play.
Yes, I'll be the hoarder. You be the expert. Okay. Any other signs that people can look out for? We have obviously the sign of, yeah, you're a hoarder. I'm in your house and I see it. We have the sign of the mystery. They won't let you come over. You can't see their house. Anything else?
If you like psychology and learning about mental health and want to learn more while meeting other people who are interested, explore your membership options using the link below this video or visit MedCircle.com.
Well, there is a sentimental value to a lot of the things that they have. The sentimental value can be like what I said, the early signs in childhood. If you can't discard something because it's associated with this part of your life or that person, so that can be another sign. Hoarders also tend to be perfectionists. So it's not so much that all perfectionists are going to be hoarders. However, that is another personality factor where if a person who hoards, you know, part of the reason with the difficulty in decision making is because, well, what if I make the wrong decision? What if I discard this item and I need it later? What if I discard this item and I'm creating waste? I'm creating waste in resources. What if somebody else can use it later and now this item is gone and I've just missed that opportunity? Or what if I didn't record every single SNL live show and now I missed something? It's a lot of missed opportunities, feeling like I'm going to be incomplete, feeling like it doesn't feel just right. So that's another sign with.
Do you find that they ever find themselves in situations where a friend comes over and says, gosh, I really need 20 hangers, and they go, well, you're in luck because I got them right over here, and they give away those items?
Oh, that is a tough question because, again, one of the hallmark in hoarding is a difficulty in parting with your possessions. So I guess it would depend. Was this item collected for the purpose of sharing it with someone else? Or was it for, I just need to have it because I might need it later?
Well, so if I'm the hoarder and I have all of these gifts, these kids' gifts, and I go, oh, well, I'm going to give it to my nephew for his birthday. Well, the birthday rolls around. Do I, as the hoarder, do I go get one of those gifts and give it to my nephew? Or is part of the disorder that story I'm telling myself that I'm going to give this gift to my nephew, but when that opportunity presents itself, I don't take it, I keep it?
I think it depends.
Okay.
I think it depends on what was the reason for acquiring the toy.
Okay.
Did you acquire the toy because it looked pleasing to you and therefore I like it, so I'm going to buy it? Or did you initially purchase the item because it was really intended for a gift?
Okay.
So it really depends, because the thing about people who hoard is that sometimes they purchase things or acquire things based on aesthetics, because it looks good, or the texture feels nice, or something about the colors that they appreciate, and therefore they'll collect the items, and it becomes part of their stuff. So it depends on what the initial purpose was.
Okay, that makes sense. Any final thoughts on recognizing the signs of hoarding disorder?
Well, we talked about the house has certain places that are off limits, right? There are a lot of people who hoard have difficulties with other people touching their things, because if you touch something, then I might not know where it is, and therefore I'm going to lose it. So another vulnerability with a hoarder is that they often fear losing things, whether it's losing information or losing something because they know where it's supposed to be. So people who hoard actually don't like to put things into containers because then they can't see. The way that they think, the way that their cognitive processes are, is different than most of us who can categorize and organize, and this is where all the painting equipment goes, this is where all the art supplies go, this is where all of the medical supplies go, right? So we are able to categorize, except with a person who hoards, that is a huge challenge, and therefore they prefer not to put things into hidden containers, because then they wouldn't know where it belongs. A person who hoards, their cognitive function is they function on a very visual spatial manner, meaning if it's there, I see it, I associate that spot with this item, the toothbrush. Right.
Yeah, it sounds like a way to control, a way to feel in control.
It's more of a way to know where everything is.
Do you know where everything is, though?
Well, the reality is that you really don't,
Right.
except for the things that you use all the time, except for those things that you use on a daily basis, right? For most of us, we only know where categories of things are. Right? So I know where my thermometer is. It's in the medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
Right? I know where all of the toiletry is. It's in the garage, where all of the toilet and paper towels and all that are. So we have categories. Again, with a person who hoards, they're not able to formulate these categories because that is a deficit in their cognitive functioning. And therefore, they prefer to have things out. So people who hoard also tend to make lists. and they make lists and they make lists. There are so many lists because they fear forgetting. That's one of the fears that they have, that I might forget, and therefore I need to make a list. However, well, what if I forget this list? So I need to make another list. And what if I don't have the items on this list, on that list, and I need to make another list? And eventually you have so many lists that you don't even know what is on what list, right? And it's challenging because you make lists in order to not forget, except those lists become so many that you end up forgetting.
Right. You can't even keep track of your list. You
Well,
need a list for your list.
That is a main problem, is keeping track.
Yeah.
When you have so many things, it's hard to keep track of any of it.
Yeah.